Hey guys, how's it going? I hope you're having a very good day. So for today's book review, I'm here to talk about Count Dracula, no, Dracula, just Dracula by Mr. Bram Stoker. Let's get started with this review, what it's all about. So our main character, of course, is Dracula, and he's stalking the night. He's preying on his lovely female victims and other victims as well. He's not, prejudiced against, guys. He'll go for the guys and the ladies, whoever has the blood. Anyways, he's doing his own thing. He is looking to relocate to where there's a lot of people, possibly London, England, and so that's where Jonathan Harker comes in. He is there traveling to the Count's crib. He's there to talk to him about the legal matters of his new estate in London, and things go awry from there. And that's kind of a quick synopsis of what Dracula is all about. Let's talk about the characters next in Dracula. Yes, this is going quite quickly. Oh yeah. So I get to finally read about Dracula and get the lowdown on him. What I was kind of disappointed by though was that we didn't really get to see a lot of Dracula directly interact with the characters. We definitely see a lot more of that at the beginning of the book and a little bit in the middle and of course at the end. But a lot of the time he was in his other forms as Mist or as a bat. So I was kind of a bit underwhelmed with his presence in the book. I was hoping he would be more in the forefront and we get to see his badassery more. Alright, next guys, let's talk about the other characters in the book. There's a lot of them, surprisingly. There's Jonathan Harker, who meets the Count at his home in Transylvania. We have Mina Murray, who is the fiance to Jonathan Harker. We also have her best friend, Lucy Westenra. We have her fiance, who is Arthur, and Lucy's other suitors are also in the book, Dr. John Seward, as well as the American, the Texan, Quincy Morris. We also have Renfield, who is the lunatic at the asylum where Dr. John Seward works at. Of course, we have Van Helsing, who is aiding this group of people track down Dracula. There's a bunch of people, guys. Let's talk about my favorite character, Mina Murray. I thought she was fantastic. She was very observant and very intelligent. The other characters, the three men who were pursuing Lucy's affections, we have Dr. John Seward, Quincy Morris, and Arthur Homewood, and so I felt they were kind of interchangeable. That's kind of mean to say. Personality-wise, there wasn't really big difference between the three. I think Quincy Morris, stood out to me the most because he was American and he was more forthcoming with his feelings and with his actions, so he kind of stood out more to me than the other two characters. All three of them were very gentlemanlike and very lovely to Lucy and really to everyone else. So yeah, I was kind of a little let down with the personalities amongst the characters. I was hoping for a lot more range between them. One of the characters that definitely stood out to me the most, and the most creepiest character, Renfield for sure. I was more creeped out about his character than Dracula's character. Renfield was definitely crazy, and when you read the diaries of Dr. John Seward and what he does, it's like, ew, gross. And yeah, he had definitely a lot of creepy moments. How his personality and character changes throughout the story is pretty great, I thought. I love the character development with his character and how his personality would change. My only qualms amongst the men, and for those who've read Dracula, you guys know, it's in regards to Mina and their good intentions towards her, but it kind of backfires. Yeah. Anyways, enough of the vagueness. That is my thoughts on the characters. I wasn't particularly engaged or attached to a lot of the characters, unfortunately. Next, guys, let's talk about the plot of Dracula. The plot of Dracula is told through journal entries. I thought that was good, and aspects of that not so good for me personally. What I really liked about reading each of the characters' journal entries, we get to see obviously what's happening to them, and there are certain instances where you're left with a cliffhanger. It's like, what happened to that character? I want to know what happens to them next. So suspense was definitely built up through this story that way. The aspect of this style of storytelling that I did not like was I felt the flow of the story was staggered. I had to kind of piece in my mind what was happening to the characters and get the timeline straight, and that's kind of the point of the journal entries, was these characters had to get the timelines of everyone's story straight so they know where to find Dracula. So yeah, kind of meta. As far as the pacing is concerned, I personally felt it was quite a slow-paced book. I definitely wasn't expecting the presence of Dracula himself would be so low. We get to see how the Count influences and affects these characters, but we don't get to see him all that much. There was this one scene that was really good. I won't talk about it. Anyways, so with that being said, guys, I'm going to give Dracula by Mr. Bram Stoker 3 stars out of 5. I did like the book. There are definitely parts of the story I really liked in the plot. Renfield and reading about his creepiness was pretty crazy. Unfortunately, I wasn't particularly attached to a lot of the characters. So those are my thoughts on Dracula, guys. Next, I will be getting into the spoilers. Spoiler alert, there's gonna be spoilers. Spoilers. Alright, definitely the creepiest part in the book when I was reading about Renfield and how he was eating those flies and spiders and how he was pushing that food chain and how he just wanted to consume more and more and more, and that was particularly creepy for me. One of my favorite parts in the book was when we see the Count and Mina and him feeding on Mina's blood and her drinking the Count's blood, and that whole imagery altogether was fantastic and awesome. I thought that was really great and I wanted more of those scenes in the book. Oh, and the phrase unclean, unclean, when Dracula feeds on Mina and she is now starting to become a vampire and she's all unclean. Who knew? That was where it was from. And that part that was bugging me when I was talking about the characters was when the men, they had the good intentions, they were looking out for Mina, but when they were, you know, leaving her out of the discussions of hunting Dracula, I definitely saw a mile away what was gonna happen to her. And obviously when you read the diary entries, when Jonathan would see Mina and she's all pale and she was sleeping a lot, I was like, okay, the Count got her. There was some definite eye rolling at the parts where the guys was like, keep her pretty little head out of this vampire hunting business, you know, don't wanna shake her up, you know, she's gonna die of fright. Yeah, so I was kind of peeved about the men towards the end of the book when they were leaving Mina out, but she was a big help in the end because she had that connection with Dracula. I was totally thinking of Harry Potter when Harry was connected to Voldemort in that sense, and so they could see what each other was up to and doing. So those are my spoiler thoughts, guys, on Dracula. There were definitely some pretty good scenes in the book. I was hoping for more. I was wanting more of those scenes. So anyways, that is my review on Dracula. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will talk to you guys later and have a very good one. Bye.